Ooh, 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 ooh. Ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and fellow League of Legends lovers and haters, welcome back to another week of patch notes where every week I question my sanity on if I want to keep doing this shit. And then every other week, every 2 weeks, I come back. So here we are. I feel like last week we had a good session, a good goon sesh. We went through it quickly. We saw what we needed to see and we got through it. Hopefully this week it can be the same, and hopefully moving forward I could do this in a more productive, more natural, more sustainable, I think is the right word, way. Because good lord, I don't want to be sitting here for an hour going over things. Mainly because I don't really play League that much anymore. I play League a little bit, yes. In fact, I just got out of a ranked game where I did very well and I still lost, so it's infuriating. But more than ever now, I am a TFT player. Not that we're going to go over the patch notes for that. Excuse me. Also, let me mute the fucking thing here. I didn't even know they added this, but they did. Now we can hear my lovely music. But either way, we're going to try and go through the patch notes really quick. I'm not going to go over every single change because, again, I don't have my hand on the trigger of League that much, nor do I want to. But I will be more so reacting to see if there's anything kind of cray-cray in here. Either way, let's see what's going on. Let's see if anything's new because RIP Surrender 20, where I used to know everything beforehand. But let's see. So it is the 27th of May. We're actually doing this on time. We're back once again, and they're going to do some Brawl balance. I hope they make Brawl longer. Brawl is interesting. It's good. I think basically what they said is kind of true, but kind of not, right? This is where I think League is definitely a hard game to get into, but would you call Brawl League of Legends? I don't think so. It's more like a team deathmatch game mode. Again, they literally just copied Arena from Smite and just ported it over, which is not bad. I think all games copy each other to a certain extent. And it's not bad even if they do it, as long as they do it better. But either way, Smite doesn't have a copyright on it, and I think it does help newer players to League kind of get used to things. But in terms of getting people into League, here's the problem. If they get into League, I think there's going to be a subset of players that play, what is this shit called? Brawl. They play Brawl, they get into League, they're like, okay, I like it. And then they're like, okay, do I want to play Summoner's Rift, which is, compared to what it used to be, not as complicated, because they hold your hand through a lot of it now. But, do I want to go from this very easy, chill, kind of casual game mode to this kind of sweaty, long haul, long con thing? Now, this is where they also have quick play as the intermediary, which I think is a genius move. But overall, I think a lot of people who play Brawl might not be interested in Summoner's Rift because it is a big step up and it's not as casual. But who knows? So, main thing I think with Brawl is they should just make it longer. I feel like sometimes I don't get to full build. A lot of late game champions in there, what are you supposed to do? I think if they just make it a tad bit longer, because it's already really short as well. Like, the games do average like 10, 11 minutes, but you don't get full build, so you don't feel the full power of some champions. If they just extend it a little bit, I think it'll be fine. By the way, what are they doing? They're updating Garen. Okay. They don't want him doing high burst crit build. So Garen, I think in the name of Pobelter, or maybe in the name of Doublelift, actually. I think Doublelift said this perfectly. And maybe it was Pobelter too. They said Garen is basically like an annoying fly. He comes in, one-shots your carry, and then just runs out. Garen is such a stupidly strong champion sometimes. He's very simple, but good lord is he also very strong, and it shouldn't be that way. But it is, and I kind of like it. I think Garen needs to be fun, because if he's not fun, he's miserable, and he's boring, and he's useless, and he's stupid. So I actually do like that. If anything, I'd actually prefer Garen to be unbalanced. I think it's not good, right? I don't think it's fair. But we need to have some chaos in the mix. So I just hope they don't nerf it too badly, but we're going to see what they're going to do. They got normal balance updates, addressing a few pieces of overshot last patch, blah, blah, blah. Swift Play Champion Select is getting some nice quality life changes when it comes to picking what you want to play. I feel like the only thing that I don't like with Swift Play so far is just the UI. I feel like the UI sucks dick. On the behavioral front, we had some adjustments under the hood. Cool. And this is where I feel like they're always doing this, and this is the thing I'm getting scared of, but in a good way. They are cracking down so hard on bad players and mean players and, meanie heads, where it really feels like they're stomping this shit out. Like, it's already on the ground. It's, like, kind of hurt. It's, like, fallen. And instead of having life alert, they have, like, beat alert, where now if you say something, you get beaten. This is where it got to the point where even I got warned, and I was like shocked. I've never got warned in my almost entire history of playing League of Legends for over a decade. I'm like, wow, I didn't say that and like anything too bad because I know what and what not to say. And they even said, hey, you better be careful on the Rift. This is a place where we have to encourage each other. And I was like, oh, okay, wow. You don't even want like any banter. Damn. But, overall, is this a good thing? I think so. But either way, what else do we got here? So they're going to be a little bit tighter on the higher skill players who know better. Ooh, that's why they yelled at me, because I should know better because I'm higher skill. Look at that. So they're going back to Brawl, laundry list of balance changes. Okay, some buffs, some adjustments. This is where, again, I always say this, but the real question is, how much do they want to buff, nerf things in Brawl? Because Brawl lasts so quick, and in a way, it's supposed to be a little unbalanced. Not as unbalanced as ARAM should be, but the shorter a game mode is, the more I think it's harder to balance it. And this is where if you balance something too much, it becomes boring and unfun. So I hope they don't go too sicko mode on this, but we gotta see. Anyway, we have a lot of stuff in the patch. Oh yeah, and they're updating the old skins. I forgot. Okay, cool. The updated Mask of the Black Rose Vlad, Samira, Renata, and Elise will be available May 28th. Tomorrow! Cool. So what are they doing with Swift Play? Previously, when hovering on teammates' icons in Swift Play lobbies, players could not view their keystone runes, but and now you can view your runes. Cool. We're adding 2 new champion sorting filters to Swift Play Champ HUD. Okay, cool. So this is just like style or quality of life. Lever Buster. This is getting what's acceptable level of FK in the 2. Okay, so basically they're making it so if you do it intentionally, you're gonna get fucked. If not, then hopefully you'll be safe. This is where I really feel like one day we're gonna border too far on the opposite side, where they're gonna get too strict on these things and they're gonna have to reel it back. But again, I'm on the side of I'd rather be safer than sorry, so I'd rather punish a little harder for something that's toxic and something that's bad than go too light on it. But that's just me. Either way, they're modifying some rules to in-game negative behavior, aka soft inting, which is quite literally what I just played with. So they reduced the threshold specifically for higher ranked players. That is crazy, but I like that. And then it's Pride Month, and who else to add but Rel, even though they should have added Leona and Diana. But okay. It's their 5th year celebrating it, probably because it makes them money or makes them look good. I don't think they really care, but most companies don't. And the 8th year now sharing the in-game icons, home guard trails, emotes, and more. We have a new free emote. Okay, cool. Nice. The Rainbow Warpaint emote. Okay. No mission or blue essence needed. Nice. You can support the Pride Month for free. Cool. Kill and take down SFX. Didn't they already add this? Or are these new? Oh yeah, no, these aren't in yet. Wow. I can't believe it. I thought they were, but I didn't really pay attention to them. So this is a small thing that basically they also have from Valorant. I know Valorant has these, and I think there's nothing bad about these. These are great. Cool. They spice it up, and you get a little dopamine boost, which is nice. All right, finally, Aatrox. What are they doing to Aatrox? They're nerfing the shit out of him. Wow. The Q sweet spot is going up by 10%, and the magic, or the damage on W is magic. Interesting. So they're trying to nerf him. They're trying to shift his power, but they're overall trying to nerf him. Which is interesting. Ooh. Excuse me. Ooh. Well, Aatrox is pretty crazy. You know, why play Riven when you can play Aatrox? Okay, cool. Annie. Annie's just not landed well. I feel like Annie is so, I remember they wanted to change her from just being like an ult flash bot. I don't know how that landed again, because I've barely even seen Annie and barely even played Rift. And, let's see what they're doing. So what are they doing? Base armor is going up, armor growth is going down, so she's more front-loaded. And then the damage on Q is slightly worse overall. So they're just nerfing her. Wow. Okay, so I guess Annie's a little bit worse. Okay. Ashe. Ashe is killing like other marksmen. Attack passive see Caitlyn cannot stack on structures. Ooh. But its damage can affect structures. Oh? Wait, what? Linger stack this Q on structure. Keep it. Oh, so you can finally get stacks on Q on towers. This is a small thing, but for Ashe players, this is going to feel really good. And it will help improve pushing power. So, I think what they say here is very interesting. Ashe's passive is very unique with how it interacts with towers. I think this is great. This is a buff. This is good. This is nice. Nothing crazy. This is boring. I'm not going over that. Diana's getting slightly better at jungle. Cool. For some reason, they wanted the jungle. Elise. Okay, so Elise is one of the infamous, I want to say three, but I'm forgetting who the third one is. Because the main two junglers I hate is Lee Sin and Elise. I feel like they're so useless, they're so bad. If you're skilled at them, you could force them to work, sure, but I feel like there's so many better options. And to do what they do, unless you're a professional, to do what you do on these champions could be done on other champions so much easier. So they better buff the shit out of Elise here. Okay, so they're nerfing her. Cool. Are they touching her support, though? Spider form basic attack bonus damage. Ooh. So they're nerfing the AP scaling. Okay, cool, whatever. Garen. Oh, man, okay, so this is going to be the big one. So they're updating Garen to make his fighter pattern much more functional. The headlining features are reduced cooldown judgment to play out sustained combat. Okay, encourages the soak up damage. He's using a bit of burst through critical strike chance, thank God. And overall damage on R. One of the best things about Garen is his ult, and I'm really sad they're nerfing that. Hope these changes to make him a fighter for again. See, this is where I think over time things in League definitely get eroded. I think champions' uniqueness, their personality, it gets grounded down. And this is where Garen might not feel like Garen anymore. I haven't looked at the changes, I haven't looked at the numbers, but I'm just scared that a lot of things that are unique, and literally last patch, one of the things they did... Oh, give me 1 second here. Okay, anyway. This is where, with Garen, what ends up happening, and what happened with last patch, ironically enough, with the items, was, what was it called? Horizon Focus. The one where you do long-range attacks. This is where Horizon Focus basically lost its identity. And I'm looking at it in this current patch, and I'm like, why would I get this if it's not going to give me more damage on long-range things? Now, the way they did it, the way they compensated, was they gave it more AP just off-rip, off-base. I haven't done the calcs, nor will I ever probably, unless I really care about this game. I don't think anyone's done the calcs either that I know of, but this is where I feel like the amount of AP they gave to compensate for the 10% more damage, I think it was 10% more damage, if it's a long-range thing, I don't know if it equals out, but this is where, by just seeing the item now, it doesn't look like anything is special about it. It's literally just a stat stick that also gives vision. And that's boring, and that's dumb, and that's ass. I feel like the other one made it more unique, more, again, have personality. This one, it's like, it's just a stat stick, it's just boring. And this is where Garen, what are the main things with him? His E, his crit, maybe his Q a little bit, I guess. His W is more niche for only good players, but this is where his ult is one of the big things. And if they take that away and they just make it so like, oh yeah, you have to E more, unless they make the E ridiculous, which I doubt they will, Garen's gonna feel more like shit, man. Excuse me. So let's see. Our hope with the changes to make fighter build Garen's best not to raise their powers. Fire Garen is currently underpowered, which is crazy. So what are they doing? The cooldown of W is going down by a little bit. The damage reduction is going up by some weird ass amounts. There's no more bonus resistances, which is sad, but I guess because you're getting so much power up here, maybe it's better. But I don't like how you're not getting bonus resistances. I don't know why they removed that. They're trying to push him more into a fighter build, because they're already probably going to nerf his damage. So let's see. So the cooldown of E is getting... Oh my god, this is getting giga buffed. What the fuck? 9 to now scaling to 6 from just 9 flat is crazy. The damage is getting buffed. Okay, wait a minute. The crit modifier is now down by 10% and down by almost 18% with IE. I feel like you can still go crit now. Oh god, I need to see the rest of this, but hold on. So they removed the damage to monsters, so you shouldn't go jungle, Garen. The partial cooldown refund is still... Oh, it's removed now, which I feel like half the time didn't even work properly. And then tooltip update for clarity. Wow, the E... Okay. I knew they were going to have to giga buff this if they wanted to make him, relevant. I'm scared what they're going to do to the R now. So let's see. I'm a little scared. So is our Demacian Justice. He's losing... None of the missing health damage, which is good. They're shaving off later on 50 damage in the mid game, and then late game 100. Honestly, Honestly, I think this is good. I think somehow, some way, this might be problematic. They're probably gonna nerf this. But dude, that cooldown and then the damage going up. The cooldown is the biggest thing, honestly. Yeah, you don't get the refund back now, but I feel like again, it didn't really work too well anyway. It didn't feel good. Dude, now, oh my lord, this is actually crazy. This might be like a mess in the making. I feel like they did a oopsie here, but let's see. I could be completely wrong. Casson, he's getting a little bit tankier. I feel like Casson just hasn't been good for a long time. The damage on his E is going slightly up. Oh boy, 10. Wait, is it 10? Yeah, 10. Oh wow. And then Rift Walk, which they should have renamed to Rift Limp after the nerf ages back. For those of you OGs out there, you would have known Casson's range on his ult used to be doubled. It's like halved from what it used to be. And it's been like this for many, many years to where people won't know it. Like new Casson players won't know it. But Casson used to be a terror on the Rift. A terror. Either way, what are they doing? This is where they're nerfing his bonus damage per stack. And the max damage is going down. Wait, what? So they're unhappy as to his power curve. Oh? So they're trying to give him the Kale treatment. They're taking away some of his late game power to give it to early. Whatever. Lucian! So Lucian's apparently decently good. I feel like he sucks ass compared to someone like Tristana, who is also one of the best ADs right now. So let's see. Lucian is dominated by is meant to try to get a little too good. Really? Wow. So they're nerfing his E by 2 seconds. This is interesting because I played Lucian recently and he does feel alright, but he still feels like Lucian, where he doesn't really carry as hard come late game, and you know his culling. Oh man, I mean it's fun, but sometimes it feels like it does nothing. So this nerf to Lucian, I mean it's not the worst thing in the world. They're not touching his damage, which I think is fine. If you touch his damage, they already touched his range, where his range is 500, less than most ADs, and you might not think that matters. If you're an AD player and you're used to 550 range people, it definitely matters. This is a slight nerf to Lucian. I think it's okay. Just don't nerf him more. Rengar! What the fuck is he doing? He can't chase? Oh? He's been one of the best Axiom Archie users. Ooh. So his cooldown on his ult is going down. Whatever. Rise. So Rise hasn't gotten reworked in a long time. I wonder when he's going to get his next one. Hopefully he does soon. This is where they're nerfing the damage on W. And then his R is getting... Also, wait. Oh, damn. Wait, they're buffing the early rank a lot. Oh, shit. Okay. And then mid, they're buffing a little bit. Wow. So they want Rise to get going earlier. Cool. Sivir. So Sivir's interesting. I think Sivir is decent. I think she's low-key really good in her best scenarios, which is team fights. However, I think she doesn't really get the attention that other ADs get because she's really boring and you don't really notice it until way later on in the game, but she does do pretty well. So maybe they're going to buff her up here. God damn it, I'm doing what I said I wouldn't do. I'm going in depth. Fuck. I'm supposed to be reacting, not dissecting. So she scales appropriately well, but struggling. If people want my dissection, I could give that, no problem. Live at Twitch TV /Tecnics channel. But this is where for now I just have to react. Apologies. So she scales appropriately well, but scaling... Yeah, her early game is the worst part. Once you get her early game, dear lord. So they're upping the thing early by 10%. That's whatever. Samira. I feel like Samira's not that good. I feel like she... And, you know, if it's ADs, I'll make an exception. I literally just said I don't want to go too long. ADs are the exception. This is where Samira was an absolute terror. I think there's a lot of easy ways to shut her down. It's very, very hard to play her. In some ways, I call her the female Draven, and I think she is, because once she gets going, you don't really stop her too much. But in some ways, I think she's also a little harder than Draven too, because she has to kind of go in, and she's very easily stopped, especially in higher elos. And they nerfed her like crazy. This is where I think what they need to do is they need to either A, add more damage back to the ult, because the ult is supposed to be the big playmaking ability, and that shit is just so easily shut down or just doesn't do enough. One of the things they should give back is the lifesteal, because if you can end the ult, if you can cancel it, CC her, whatever, you should be rewarded for that. But if you can't, she should be basically getting her nut off, to say it in vulgar speak. This is where she used to have so much more lifesteal percentage on her ult, where you would lifesteal at a higher rate. They nerfed it. I think they should bring it back. If not, just bring back straight damage. But let's see. She's statistically fine. She's very sharply dependent on getting kills in lane and struggles in teamfights with a large lead. Yes. And even with a large lead, she could easily be shut down. Because she's very linear. Just stop her ult. We're bumping up her lifesteal synergy to make it builds aren't all about maximum damage and taking a bit away from her burst. Oh, they're taking away from her burst? So the Q's effectiveness is going up. The W is going down. But you're not really using this for damage, so that's honestly fine as hell. That's perfect. And then the lifesteal effectiveness on Inferno Trigger is going up to 80, which is a big amount. This is actually great. I actually like this a lot for Samira. They basically did what I said. Cool. It's almost like I play Samira. Okay. Smoldy. Smoldy scales. I feel like he takes too long. He kind of has a similar issue to, I would say, Sivir. But unlike Sivir, he actually can do stuff a little bit earlier. And once he hit his power spike, it just doesn't stop. Although I think, you know, in regular play, he doesn't get as abused as much. In pro play, it's just an entirely different story. So what are they doing? They're nerfing the armor. They're nerfing the health. Cool. TF. The cards are getting slightly buffed. This is nothing. Oh, Twitch! Twitch! AP Twitch has been terror bad. While we really don't want AP support Twitch, we think they're safe for him to revert a prior nerf. Oh my god. And they buffed AP items too. Wait a minute. I love this a lot. Holy shit. This is great. It's only for the E, which is sad. I wish it was for the passive. Because ironically enough, that's where a majority of the damage comes from for AP Twitch. But I'm very glad to see AP Twitch. I used to be very close-minded. Excuse me. Away from these things. I used to not like ADs going weird, like off-meta builds. And then I played Zarya, and then I kind of embraced it. You can't knock it till you try it. And once I tried it, I fell in love with it. Would I play it now? If I'm trying to have fun, yes. But I like the AP Twitch is getting some love. Very cool. Udyr. This guy I feel like is a fucking problem. I feel like Udyr is one of the junglers I want to ban. Not because like I hate him like Lee Sin. I ban Lee Sin just because I hate Lee Sin. But actually because he's so good. Udyr is ridiculously good at 1v1ing if you're alone. Better than Kha'Zix, I would say, which is wild to me. But either way. AD Udyr with Qmax is having a resurgence while R-centric Udyr builds have fallen significantly. No duh. Because our build leads to them going top lane and them just clearing the wave and winning. So what are they doing? Storm Stance is now getting slightly buffed with the basic attack. Who cares? And then the storm damage per second, which was the main issue, is going up by 10. Okay, cool. He's a little bit better. He's probably, I don't know if he'll go top yet. Oh, here we go. Horizon Focus. Again, I think this item sucks ass now. Horizon Focus, not good. Add more of a niche or God knows what. It like when you look at this item, you don't think like, oh yeah, it's supposed to give vision. Well, it is called Horizon, so I guess maybe. But like when I look at it from knowing what it used to do, it's like, again, I don't even know if the stats make it better than before. They probably do, but it just looks boring. Horizon Focus changes succeed in moving some new mage users, but overall it's still a little too weak. And they're buffing it. Nice. They're nerfing the cost buffing damage. That's how you know the shit's weak as shit. They're going both ways. Usually they buff the damage, but also nerf the cost. They're literally buffing both ends of the spectrum here, which is insane to me. So here we have ARAM. I'm not really going to look at this. Wait, this is ARAM, right? Yeah, it's ARAM. Okay, cool. I don't really care about this. Brawl. Ooh, okay, so this is a big amount. Let's see what they're doing. Let me skim this because we don't want to stay here forever. So they launched it with minimal changes. They like it somehow, even though I think it's a little boring, but it's whatever. It's just mindless fun. It really is just mindless fun. They released a hotfix. Okay. And they're further balancing people. Cool. There's no way there's a surrender thing in this. A comp who managed to win a game from inside their base? What? Wait. What? Wait. How? It's my discover and find these things. We're making some changes to this patch so that should no longer be possible. We expect some changes to this patch to... This should be no longer possible. Okay. We're also adding a change to the surrender time by setting it to 15 minutes. Wow. So if you're being held hostage, you could end the game if you obviously get the votes, I think. Okay, wow. I didn't know there was a surrender timer. What? You now deal greatly reduced damage to minions if you spend too long in your base. This debuff can be easily removed by leaving your base, but will be reapplied more quickly afterwards to prevent abuse. That is crazy. What the hell? I'm glad I read this. Playchucks got nerfed. Akali got buffed, thank God. Bard got buffed, thank God. See, they need to really change a lot of the champions that have all these weirdo passives, especially Kindred. I don't know who the fuck is gonna want to play Kindred in this. Camille, okay, Corky, whatever. Okay, so just tiny buffs here. I'm just looking for anyone. Gwen got buffed. Ooh, look at that. Okay, blah blah blah. Okay, buffed, buffed, buffed. Yeah, look at Kindred. What the fuck? There we go. Lux cooldown went even more down. Wow. Oh no, it went up. Never mind. I guess Lux is too good in this. Million Italy. Da, da, da. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of champions. Damn, this game has a lot of characters. And I feel like they're really not adding more. And then the micro balance patch. Who cares? Nice. Oh my lord, this take up so much. I bug fixes quality of life. Pike's Phantom E. Now follow the position of the Phantom. Mini class. Okay, who cares? And skin updates. Okay. So they went back like they said last patch, and they're updating the rose skins to make them a little bit more high quality. I still think this just goes into the bigger theme of the battle passes suck dick, and I still hold to that fact. Even looking at this pass, I gotta see next pass, but I'm not having hope in these anymore, and it's sad that they have orbs in them. If they did not have orbs in them, I would probably not buy these anymore. I'm still debating whether I should buy them or not, but because Pool Party Twitch in this one kind of sucks ass. Like, it's not a good skin. I feel like you shouldn't nickel and dime your players, and if you are, at least make it not obvious. This is where in Fortnite, yeah, Fortnite's passes and battle passes in general in battle royales are filled with shit. But at least in Fortnite, they're filled with a lot of good things too, to where it's like you could kind of deal with the shit. In this new league pass, not only did they take away your choice, they take away the ability to farm for more skins, because now you just farm for blue essence when you're done with it. They took away a lot of your choices, but it's just also filled with shit. And I'm still saying this giant thing, this giant conspiracy of they blame the free-to-play players even though the passes were the problem. But either way, they updated all these skins. These are nice, whatever, whatever, and there's no new skins. Okay, cool. That's basically the patch. I would say probably a decent... I would honestly say this is a fairly boring patch, and I don't agree with some of the changes. I would say 4.5 out of 10 Marc Merrills. 5 being even neutral, I'm a little negative about this patch. I'm excited about the Garen thing, but everything else I kind of didn't really care about. And I thought it was like, whatever. Oh, actually, you know what? Nah. With the Samira buff, I'll give this a 5. I'll give it a straight dead even rating. 5 out of 10 Marc Merrills, completely neutral. I don't really care. It's whatever. The Samira changes is good. Everything else kind of counterbalances it. So anyway, that's about it. Hope everyone enjoyed. Watch me live at Twitch TV Tecnics channel. And if you like these shorter, quote unquote shorter, even though we went for half an hour, patch notes, let me know. If you want the longer ones back with in-depth discussion and analysis, let me know, even though I really don't want to do this again. But if there's a flavor for it, I will try and provide. Anyway, hope everyone enjoyed. Eee!